guys, welcome back to the channel.
We are trying to hydrate and stay hydrated, which is getting harder and harder in this country.
I'm just having a snacksy.
Snacksy.
A snack,
You know there are
comma, C.
C in as in Spanish. C S-E-E.
Jesus.
It really took a while. I see you guys are back for the tea.
Tea. Sorry.
We hope you liked our previous story. This one was actually a subscriber story, so if you guys have more stories, please feel free to send them our way on our Instagram,
On our email as well. You can send an email. I'll link to both of them anyway down in the description box. You can check out which one is more convenient for you if the story is long.
Yeah, if
sometimes
you want to
better by
stay
email,
anonymous, honey.
You know.
Today is another story from Doomed Marriage. This is one of those that like made me slightly angry.
Slightly.
Because I was like, if you're dumb enough, then I'm sorry. This is what you get. The story begins. The victim is a lady, and you basically, again, this whole thing about age and how a woman who's pushing 40 is basically used good and can get married with a good man. Bullshit! But anyways, the story begins with a woman who is on a date. She's 37, and they make sure you don't forget that, because basically they're showing that the guy she's on a date with is like a total dickhead, because he's like, oh, so you're 37, right? And then he started basically just putting her down, and you can tell he's an asshole because he's like eating with, like talking with his mouth open. He's like,
so you're 37, right? How could you see getting married?
and the girl is like, well,
Disgusting.
I was just busy, you know, trying to better myself, and I was doing some self-development. I was, you know, working and studying. He was like,
What does a woman need to do self-development for after 30? You don't need to do that. You just have to just, you know, take a little job and just live your life, get married.
so she's like, all right. So anyways, you establish that she's on a bad date, and she's narrating basically that these are all the prospects that she's been having, and
A bleak future.
very bleak,
Wow.
future, and how she, you know, she kind of like gave up, and she's not dating anymore because it's just like she doesn't feel the need to press herself because she's 37, and she'll get married when she finds the right guy. So we see her at church, and she's talking to this older lady, and obviously she's like giving her the whole thing, like, oh my god, you need to meet someone. You know, I know this really good guy, I can introduce you. She's like, you know what, I'm good, like I've been dating and it hasn't really worked, so I'm gonna take a break. I'm just gonna like enjoy my life. And she's like, oh, but you should at least meet him. I'm not telling you to do anything, you know, how do you say, like permanent. Just meet him. Oh, there he goes. And she turns around, and it's this guy who's like slightly younger than her, and he's good looking, and he's like, you can tell he has manners because he's like opening the door for people, and he's like, oh yes. So she's like, look, he's from America, he's from California, he's a Gyopo, which is like supposed to be a good thing here. He's a Gyopo. He studied at this prestigious university. He has this prestigious job. His parents live in the States, so if you get married, you get to go live in the States. Like, he's amazing, blah, 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 blah. She doesn't even know him that well. She's just like, yeah, like in the community, he's like really popular and stuff. And him and his friends are the same. So she's looking at him. You can tell, you know, she likes, you know, what he looks like. So I'm like, okay, he's cute. And she ends up getting the guy's number, and so they go out on a date. And, you know, he's like the complete opposite of the first date. He's like manner galore, just very nice. And she tells him like, oh, you know, at my age, she said something about her age, and he's like, well, what about your age? Age is just a number. And he's like saying all these phrases in English, like
in English.
Yeah, so the MCs are like, oh my god, he's the perfect guy, whatever. I'm like, alright, well, there's a reason you're on this show, so I'm waiting to see what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
2 years later, they're dating. She's happy, you know, they're, you know, doing great. They're about to get married. They do the ceremony. All their friends came, family, the guy's friends are here. Everything is going well. And obviously, the women's friends are there. She's like, oh my god, like even his friends are so 잘생겼다, and you should introduce me once you finish the ceremony. Are you guys gonna do a ceremony in the States? She's like, yeah, but I don't think we're gonna live there. I have my job here, and I think he has the resources to find a job here in Korea. Her friend is like, no, you should go. What do you mean? Why would you stay here? Everybody's trying to leave the country. You should go. And she's like, no. Like, I have my job here. Like, I can't do anything in America. What am I gonna do there? I don't speak the language. Yeah, so she's like, oh, okay, blah blah blah. From what she's saying, the guy is very supportive. He was okay with just staying in Korea and like looking for a job. So they get married. They go do the English, like the American ceremony in the States. She gets to meet the parents. They live in like amazing house. Like they look like they have slight technical issue. I'm just gonna put the glass down, okay? You can tell they have coin. Yeah. They have coin. They got money. So she's all excited, and he's like, yeah, later we can come here and live like right next door to them. It's gonna be so much fun. She's like, oh, I'm not really sure. Like my whole life is there. And you already agreed that we would stay in Korea. He was like, oh, okay, well, whatever you say, cool. They go back to Korea, and she wakes up one day, and the guy's just like watching the news and stuff, and they're talking about like house prices in America, how they're like skyrocketing, blah blah blah. So they're just watching the news, cool. Drinking coffee, and she's like, well, aren't you going to work? He's like, yeah, I'm not gonna go today. She's like, why are you not gonna go today? He's like, yeah, I'm thinking about quitting. She's like, why would you quit your job? Like, we literally just got married. Why would you quit your job? He's like, I just don't like the Korean system. Like, the whole, like, we have to go drink after work. We have to do everything together. Fair? Yeah, I don't like the system and how it works. Like, it's not basically he doesn't vibe with it, right? She's like, yeah, but just because you don't like the system, you're gonna quit your job. And she pulls out this picture. She was like, I went to the hospital this morning. I'm pregnant. Oh, like, my. Yay. So right now quitting your job does not sound like a good idea. He's like, oh my god, that's so amazing. But don't worry, I have so many resources. I will find another job that suits me. Don't worry. Obviously, she's worried as hell. She's like, okay, cool, but okay. So he does quit his job. But like month and month are passing. Year one passes. The kid is there. He's damn near walking, and he still didn't get a new job.
But like because he's not trying, or because he couldn't find anything?
Well, she's like, you haven't even tried to like look for a new job. That's what she said to him. So apparently, he didn't really make the effort. Every lead he had, he didn't like it because the Korean system, and it doesn't work with him because he's so American. Yeah. So it just doesn't work. So she's like, yeah, but like I'm really worried. Like we have to have a kid. I cannot be the only one. Yeah. To pull my weight. Like we have to do something. We can't just both stay at home. He's like, yeah, don't worry. I got you. And then one day, random day, he's like, yeah. What do you think about buying a house in the U.S.? She's like,
with what money?
Exactly. with what?
The air? Money that you breathe? Like what?
Are you gonna poop dollars? Like what's? She's like, with what money, sir? Like, how are we going to buy a brand new house in the states of California without any money? He's like, yeah, but because the house they're currently living in is like chonse is what they call it. So you put like a big deposit and you get it back when you leave. And he's like, we can just use the deposit that you put in, which is like 10 the equivalent of $100,000.
Absolutely not. That was $1 million. Sorry guys, I'm terrible at translating Korean ones.
Basically, this is what she had, and he's like, I'm gonna add like my own, like basically like a small ass fraction of that sum, and we can buy a house or whatever. I'm like, okay, like basically put down the money for the house. And she's like, you can tell she's like calculating. She's like, wait, so I'm gonna put down the majority of the money, and you're gonna put like a fraction, and we're gonna buy a house. Like, don't you think we should do like 50-50? He's like, yeah, but right now, like, don't worry, I'll pay my part back like later. Now, mind you, if this is your husband, would you feel like, all right, but I could trust you?
If my husband showed me that he can do it, like, I mean, there is past experience of him proving me that he actually can make the money, or he's actually like dependable in that sense, yes. If for a year you haven't been working, no, because you don't want to work. And I'm
Well.
like, why would I get engaged in this
In
situation?
cahoots in these shenanigans.
Yeah, I don't want to be here because I know clearly you don't care.
So speaking of past experience, the reason why she's like hesitating, like you would, as you should, you see there's like a scene from like their everyday life where she's at work and he calls her non-stop. And when she checks her phone at the end of her class, because she teaches, he has like she doesn't teach in school, like she's like a high paying job in some company, so she teaches other people, from like business people, so she makes money. But she checks her phone and he called her like 17 times or something, and she's like, oh my god, what's going on, is the baby okay? He's like, no, I sent you a link, I just wanted you to buy this pair of shoes for me. But wait, there's more. The shoes are $3,000.
You must be joking.
I'm not, unfortunately. So that's your past experience for you.
Of course not.
Mm-hmm.
Of course I'm not buying a house with you. What do you mean?
Well, she accepts.
I mean,
That's what. This is what I told you. If you're dumb,
no,
play stupid games. You will win stupid prices.
Listen, it's not even you're dumb. You're in the relationship is different than being outside. But that's that. Like, I'm here, telling my wisdom, from the comfort of my couch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not in this relationship, you know. But that sketch, like, how do you not see? Is my question. Yeah. Anywho.
So she accepts, and he's like,
Man-child. Anyway.
So she said yes, and she's like, "Yeah, great, you're so weird. I love you. No, don't worry, I'll get your money back." Like he said for the other times that she shopped for him for whatever reason. She was like, "Oh yeah, like the Korean system of websites, I don't really understand. So please pay for me." Never paid her back. But anyways, I digress. He's like, "Yeah, so I know a friend who worked at a real estate agency. My friend Chris is really great. Like, just come and meet my friend." And we can see like how to get like with the real estate agency, blah blah blah. Come to the hotel. Like Chris came to Korea like, I don't know, 2 days ago. Come to the hotel and we're gonna all discuss together. So she's like, okay, cool. She goes to the hotel after work. She enters the room. Her husband is like all happy and proud of himself. He's like, yeah. Chris, come out. Obviously Chris is a woman. She's in her robe. And I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, well, if he was cheating, he wouldn't have called her at the hotel. So
not necessarily at this woman especially. Like, what? Okay, yeah.
So she's like, oh, Chris is Christine. Oh, why didn't you tell me? He's like, oh, come on. Like, why did I need to say? You think I would have called you to the hotel if it wasn't like, if I was doing something weird? Like, that's crazy. But the fact that he said that, I was like, gaslighting 101.
Yeah,
but
that means that you've thought about it and you're like, I'm gonna reverse the whole thing, and you're not gonna see nothing happen.
So me and my paranoid ass, I was like, well, I don't know if I trust you, but alright. So they start discussing the whole house. Everything is cool. And then a few days later, he goes for the States because apparently he has to be there to buy the house, apparently. So, alright. And then a couple days later, they're FaceTiming, everything is fine. She's with the baby. This one day, he's like, babe, something kind of happened.
Wait, how long did he stay there?
It was like a few days in. He got there and they were like FaceTiming. So maybe a couple days in, he calls her. Oh my god, like something kind of happened. But don't worry, I fixed it. She's like, what happened? He was like, he's like, yeah, I bought the house. Everything is fine. But because you don't have like this one paper that you're supposed to have because you're a foreigner and I have a US passport, I couldn't put your name on the fucking thing.
Oh, no.
She's like, what are you talking about? Like, what do I need? He's like, no, this one piece of paper, and it's only if you're like living like a resident in the States or you have like a passport that you can have it. So for now, I'll put my name on the deed. Thank you. Don't worry, we'll fix it. Once you come to the States and you get all your papers situated, we'll put your name on the lease and we'll do like, not the lease, the deed, and we'll do like a joint property thing. He shows her the house. The house is looking good, alright? This is a good looking house. And she's like, oh yeah, so it matches the picture, so, I don't have to worry. Couple of days later, she's calling.
No way.
And he doesn't pick up the phone.
No way. What? That is no.
She calls his friends. The friend who wanted to be introduced to his friend, she calls her. The friend's like, okay, I'm gonna try to reach out to his friend and see if somebody has seen him, because she's worried. She's like, something must have happened to him. He's not picking up the phone. He's not picking up anything. Emails, calls, texts, whatever the case may be.
I would be scared, like you had an accident or something.
So she's terrified. He's not picking up, and so this one day she's at the church and she's asking around, like, have you heard of him? And then the old lady who convinced her to go meet with that guy, she kind of takes her aside. She's like, she looks like very uncomfortable. She's like, oh my God, like, I have to tell you something. After I heard he wasn't picking up your calls, I just couldn't keep it for myself. And she's like, actually, he kind of lied about his past. Like, he didn't go to the school he said he went to. He does not have the job he said he used to have. He wasn't even good in school. Like, there is none of that. None of that is true. None of it. Nothing! This is a whole scam! She didn't say that, but that was me.
First and foremost, when did you know that information, and why didn't you tell me, bitch?
Oh, so the way she was telling her, she had just found out, because she heard that he wasn't picking up, so she kind of like, now she decides to ask questions around, like a couple days like before, and she told her. So I don't think the old lady was lying on purpose. But she was like, she should have known.
Oh my God.
Like, literally, what's wrong with you? Why would you take it upon yourself to introduce two people if you don't even know the person and you can't even back them up? Now she is worried, but her worries are more like for herself now. She's like, what the hell? So she decides to grab a ticket and she goes to the States. She goes to the house that they bought. And so she's literally out of the taxi. She goes in. The house is lit, so you know there's people in there. She goes to the door, and you know how in the States you can see kind of like through the windows?
Which is weird in my opinion.
Yeah, it's so weird. But, you know, she can see like through the blinds kind of, because the blinds are open. And guess who is there? You have her husband with Christine all cuddled up on the couch watching TV. At this moment, I was like, this has to be fake.
Yeah.
Like, I was hoping it was fake, but anywho. True story, unfortunately.
I cannot believe it. You have to be, first of all, a mastermind of bullshit. And then you have to have the nerve to do it too. The audacity. Continue. I want to know what she does.
He makes eye contact with her because he ends up seeing her, and you can see like he's like all panicked and stuff. So she enters his house. She's like, "What the fuck is going on?" Blah, 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 starts screaming, and then you see people coming down the stairs, and it's the parents. And she's like, "Why are you here? This is my house, first of all. Why are you here?" She's like, "Oh, I just wanted all of us to live together. I don't know what the mom." She's like, "I don't know what goes in his mind. I told him not to do this. Like, I don't know. I just wanted all of us to live together." She's like, "But you have your own house." She's like, "Oh, actually, this was just a rental. So we were hoping that we would be able to stay with you guys." And she's like, what is going on? And then what pissed me off is that the other lady, the side chick, she has the nerve to look at her and be like, honestly, who believes that just because you don't have that one piece of paper, you can't buy a house? Like, obviously you can, but you're the one who bought it. And she's like smirking.
That's so dumb. Either way, because it's not that I didn't believe it or I believed it. I wasn't there. He was the one who did it, so... What?
Exactly. So she was making fun of her for like believing the lies, and then she grabs her bag and she just leaves as if I'm like, girl, who the fuck do you think? Yeah, she's just like, and she left. So she's like, what the hell? Like, what did you do? Da 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 da. And then before she leaves, the second turn around, she's like, well, technically, it's not even your house because your name is not on the deed. Yeah. And then the husband, who was previously like, oh, I'm so sorry, he's like, wait a minute, she's right. This is my house technically, so basically, like, what do you want me to do? And she's like, how could you do this to myself? And you're the child that we have together, da 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 da. Screaming. She's like out of her fucking mind. And the guy is like, well, I mean, you should have looked more into me. Why did you believe everything they said about me? You Korean girls, you're the same. As soon as someone says America, your eyes are just shining with envy, and all you think is, oh my God, he's from America. Well, there you go. You're dumb, and this is what you get. What? My husband talking to me like that.
Was that a scam with Chris the whole time?
Yeah.
Or was she just like after the fact?
So after the fact, basically he tells, you know how they do, like they end up explaining the whole thing, like the narration, and basically Chris, they were together the whole time. obviously, which is why the hotel thing was totally like reverse psychology.
Yeah.
They were together the whole time, and she was like, "Oh, we should just like get a house and like just get yourself." You know those stupid Korean girls, like as soon as you said America, they're gonna do panchak. And parentheses, the MCs proceed to explain that unfortunately it is kind of a thing. Like a lot of people, you know how they say like when Gyopos are in Korea they're like mistreated and stuff like that. There is that, but on the flip side, a lot of people are so like, oh, I can go live in America, that being with a Gyopo, being with someone who is from America is like almost like a gateway to go in there. So basically, him and his friends, they all are like misfits. Like they don't have jobs. They're from like a random university that nobody knows, ever heard of. You know how it's important here in Korea. But just by the fact that they're from America, they come here and basically go after girls with status so that they can take money from them, because they know that they're gonna get it. And the lawyer who's part of the MCC explained that he has a lot of cases like that.
Jesus.
Like older women who are desperate, and like these young cute guys who come from America and speak English, and they're act like, oh yeah, I came from like this Ivy League or whatever.
Oh.
They marry them immediately, and then they take everything from them, and then they run back to the city and they just stop communication, because not everybody can just hop on the plane and go get you. Some of them, they disappear and that's it. And that's their whole scheme.
And even if they come and get you, what ground do they
exactly
actually have?
What are you gonna do legally? Nothing.
First of all, we're married.
But that doesn't mean anything.
But why would you have to? I mean, that's why you cannot attack me or something like that much. It's my money too. Like
yeah.
we're
It's like
together.
you can't do shit.
But why would you have a kid then? Was it a mistake?
That's I don't know. It might
'Cause
have
if
been.
your whole
I was like,
plan-
that's some psychopathic.
Yeah,
thing.
if your whole plan was to leave anyway, why do you have a kid? You didn't stay even that long, so just.
Not one did he mention the kid. Not once.
I think it was a mistake. I didn't plan that.
Probably. He was like, damn, I need to get out right now. That's crazy.
That's crazy talk. That's crazy talk. And then what does she do?
So yeah, now, well, that's the basically, she hears about all of that, how like they're basically scammers who go around trying to, you know, mess with like women who, you know, are not yet married and are looking for someone. And that's it. She's asking basically to MC, what am I supposed to do? Because she doesn't have any legal advice. She doesn't know what
Can
to
she
do.
even get the house back?
I don't know. I guess unless you have like big proof that you've been scammed. Apparently the lawyer was saying like if you have like all these documentation that says like you got married out of like a not coercion but like out of basically
how
being
would
scammed.
How do you prove that?
I don't know.
It's impossible
That's
to
the
prove.
problem. And that was her thing. What should I do? You're married with a child. And he took all your money.
Crazy. I really hope she can get her. I don't know how, but get the house back.
I don't know how.
Or get the money back from the house at least.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yep.
Maybe if they divorce and then they have to split equally,
That's what I was thinking.
but then still you still lost.
You
half
still
of it.
lost all of your money, honey.
So now basically, when people tell you stuff, you need to have the receipt now. Oh, you've been to that school? Show
you
me.
cannot trust
Show
anyone.
me the diploma, and then they can even Photoshop it anyway.
You can't trust anyone.
Yikes.
Call me paranoid, I don't know. But if I'm meeting someone, yeah, and we're together, we're dating, and I'm even thinking, oh, I could marry this person, it's not even out of skepticism. I'm the type, if I like you, I'm curious about everything. And I will ask you questions about everything. I like to ask you, what school did you go to? What did you study? Where did you go? And, oh, I want to see, like, I'm the type to do that. So if I'm asking you a question and you're dodgy once, first of all, I'm going to be like, alright, red
Do you
flag.
think it would be dodgy? I think he had his whole story figured out.
I mean, I want to see a degree.
Do you ask degrees usually?
Oh, I will ask.
No, but now, yeah, but at the time, you just say, oh, you went there, oh, cool. Period.
Yeah,
You
but
don't
like
have to,
if this
like,
is something someone you gotta get married to, I feel
would
like
you look for degrees?
I wouldn't look. I would ask.
Would you? Why?
Why not?
Do you look at your degree?
Yeah, all the time. I have it in my photos. I have it in my. I'm not even kidding.
What I would ask more like naturally, I think, rather than this, because that would never come to my mind. But like, oh, do you have like pictures, like
Yeah, from your
body
school.
picture?
That's
like,
where I would start.
Yeah, that's
But
it.
if you're dodgy, then I'm like, oh, can I see like? If you're dodgy,
yeah, then
I'm sorry,
you
I'll
become
ask
suspicious.
you.
But
you start with like. For
like
me,
normal,
it's natural to start
yeah.
about things, and like for people, for me who don't have proof of those things or are lying, basically, they start getting judgy very early because they try to steer you away from it.
Yeah.
So if you're asking simple questions like, "Oh my God, can I see like your yearbook picture?"
Yeah, and,
And he's like, "Oh,
it burned in a fire in my childhood house
exactly,
with all of my possessions."
exactly, all of my pictures. Come on, and you gotta just be curious.
Yeah.
you don't have a choice.
And careful too. Damn. Clearly.
Yeah, and also in this case, it's even worse because Loki, she was blinded by the presentation they made of him.
Yeah. He was already presented in like a light of like, oh my god, he's such a nice guy. So you have
Everything is
somebody
based.
else telling you something about him. You're gonna, and then he confirmed it. So like, yeah, you're just like, oh yeah, you're right. Like it's so nice. I'm so lucky.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. Lady, so sorry.
I feel bad for her and her baby. as well.
Yes.
Yeah, I hope wherever they are, they're okay.
And they found the house back. They got the house back. Please.
Yeah, I hope so. But yeah, let us know in the comments what you thought about this, what you would have done. Are you like me? You asked like the craziest questions from the get-go, or are you like her? You're gonna give some time to the person.
No, and that's
Which one
some
are
time.
you?
For me, it's not just natural. I'm not
Me,
gonna
I'm
be
like,
so tell me more about
give
the
me
security
your
session and blah,
transcript.
blah, blah.
I want to see your bank
Fifth
account.
grade.
So let us know
Nah.
which one of us you would be.
And we will see you in the next one. Bye.